Hi YouTube. I have here some footage that I recorded a couple of weeks ago, and it was very clear to me that they were hooking up some kind of system at the seafloor. I'm not trying to duplicate or copy BP oil disaster in what he is doing. I'll let him do his own work, and I think he's best suited for that. But I did some recordings of what was taking place, and I found it very peculiar what they were doing. They were hooking up some nozzles which they were sticking in some gadgets, and these gadgets had markings on them called Chem 1, Chem 2, Chem 3, Chem 4, and one of the stickers also said injection, and some of the stickers also say dispersant, but in abbreviated form, and that is the one you're seeing down in the fourth quadrant. That means down to the right. There they are turning on and off switches. They are also turning on and off switches in other frames, as you see, as long as you watch the video. It is my belief that they have set up a stationary dispersant system at the seafloor, and it doesn't strike me that this dispersant system which they set up is anywhere near where the runaway train well B is, the so-called volcano. They have capped well A, I believe in that, but well B, that one they cannot stop, and that is for the reason that they actually drilled into the mantle. So there is volcanic material coming out, and there is oil coming out. That is a fact. And there was some guy who really got at me today, and he said to me that there was never two wells. Well, I sit with the PDF files and the memorandum from the government itself. There is actually a talk about two wells. Well A did not go good. They abandoned it, and they didn't even cap it. So it was just gushing. But it was gushing more like something white stuff, something brown stuff, something reddish stuff, which was definitely not looking like crude oil. It looked more like a volcanic material. But well B is the main factor. And yeah, yesterday Mr. Obama said it's over. There's nothing to worry about anymore. Let me say, from my point of view, that is a lie. They have not capped well B. They cannot cap well B. And another theory I have about the depth of the loop current is that this stuff which is coming out is over 500 Fahrenheit hot when it reaches the water. And I think it has a negative reaction to the seawater at the seafloor, because we know down there the temperature is around 36 degrees approximately, and that is in Celsius around, what is that? That is around 2 degrees Celsius. So it's very cold down there, and this hot stuff is pouring into the Mexican Gulf itself. And I believe that there is an interaction between this cold and this hot water coming in through the Atlantic being pressed in. And that gives this circulation, and a high-speed circulation. And because of this heat coming from below now, it makes the loop current actually stall. I hope you can understand the physics in that. There is not this interaction anymore from the cold and the hot. So that might be the reason why the loop current is dead. Plus all this material of oil and volcanic material which is being pushed up into the sea through the water column. But back to this yellow gadgets they have standing down here. It is very clear that they are hooking up something, and it is very clear that the stickers is pointing towards something chemical is being used. So why are they putting up such a rig? And they're not even near well B, because they cannot be near well B. The turbulence there is too difficult for them to work in the first place. So what are they doing actually? I was talking yesterday with AC Griffith. We were on a telephone conference about the show which is coming up tonight on Freedom Link, and that is at I think it's at 8 p.m. Don't hang me on that. I'll make another video announce that. But I think this is important for you to watch and just pay attention to what they are actually doing. These nozzles is not going into some gadgets and providing anything. It actually looks like they're putting these nozzles into an empty frame just to support them. Well, why wouldn't they just lay them on the seafloor and just let them do their work? No, I think these gadgets has another purpose. And today I have sent to 10 different Danish professors in chemistry and asking them polite what reactions these chemicals which is in this Corexit have on methane gas in frozen state and on methane gas in liquid state and in gaseous state. I will leave out the oil. I believe that it will thin out the oil, but I also believe that it will make the oil even more toxic. And I still say, if I were people living in the Mexican Gulf, I would seriously contemplating leaving. It is a very toxic soup they have made for you down there. There's no question about it. Even the Corexit itself is up to 10 times more toxic than the crude oil itself. And that should already make some red flags go up and say to you, whoa, this cannot be right. How could they spray something which is even more toxic and just get away with it? That can't be right. They have perfectly destroyed the fishing industry. They are barring by waivers the fishermen to sue them for their losses. Actually, they're making everybody keep quiet about what's going on. And they're making everybody keep quiet about how sick people are getting. That is not coming out in the news media. But we have reports that people are actually getting sick with some symptoms called the blue flu. And I think it's terrible. I really do. And it seems like there's no end to it. But if you look at these pictures here, it clearly show you in live pictures that something weird is going on with these gadgets they have standing on the seafloor. I still believe they are there now. I still think they are used. And I think this statement from Obama yesterday is a lie, and it's just to keep your guard down. I don't believe it's over. Not at all. It is escalating. That's what I believe. And it's getting far worse. And this so-called well B is not capped. They cannot cap it. It has to be capped by itself or by divine intervention. It is a volcano. And man has not yet stopped a volcano. I would like to see that being done effectively. And yes, there is a snake system going around underneath the continent of North America, and they are all interlinked, and that means all this pressure is being relieved, and it kind of means that that piece of land North America is lying on is sinking because they are letting out the pressure. And when you're letting out the pressure, it is like the bicycle wheel. It is getting flat. That means the sheer mass of the North American continent will sink down and trying to stabilize, accommodating the low pressure. So anyone out there, check the sea level, see if it's rising. Check it every day at the same time a day and see if there's any changes. But maybe we'll not even get that far before something really bad happens. I don't know. I really don't know. But it is my belief in my guts and what I hear, what I see, what I read, and what I also get from the Holy Spirit, that there is something very, very terrible going on with all this going on in the Mexican Gulf. So watch these pictures here and make up in your own mind what is really going on. Maybe you have some inputs, and I will appreciate that a lot. But I don't think that these gadgets here are to serve any good purpose at all. Pushing out all this Corexit in the ocean is not good in the first place. So what can these devices standing on the seafloor at all have of good nature? Nothing. So it's not over. Don't sit down and exhale and say, finally, this is not over. Take my word for it. This is not over yet. I showed you yesterday a report from NASA itself on page 88 that they are capable and contemplating doing detonations at the seafloor to release methane hydrates in order to create tidal waves. That already there should make some bells go off in your head. And when you look at this equipment they have down here, it might be that this equipment and the Corexit actually interacts with the methane gas and melts it. And in the end, they might detonate it, or maybe in the end, this huge pocket, which I know is from NOAA, is 20 miles long. How deep it is, I don't know. But if that is released in one massive spew, you can be very sure of there will be a tsunami in the entire Mexican Gulf, plus a huge release of deadly, toxic methane gas. So, feel free to give me an input on it and see what you can come up with. But I will send the ingredients and a question about how that reacts to the methane gas. I don't suspect that any chemist over here will step forward and tell the actual truth. What interaction do these chemicals have with each other, of either being flammable, explosive, extremely toxic, and so on? I don't know. But I hope I get a reply for them, and if I do, I'll be on it immediately and tell you what I know. That's all I have to say. God bless you all. Thank you for your support, everyone. I really, really appreciate that. I'll be back again.